What is up, everyone? Here's Mars, and as you can tell, we obviously have an absolutely awesome new change of scenery. Looks a lot better. Now I've got the camera beside my gaming monitor, so every time I'm gaming, I'm not gonna be like looking this way, and it's gonna be really annoying when it comes to live camera, but it's still gonna be pretty nice. Now I do have OBS on the right side, so whenever I'm looking at OBS, it will look like I'm looking the opposite way, but I'll do my best to keep looking at the camera. But anyways, we are in Minecraft now, as you can obviously tell, and today we're going to go into another how-to video. I'm going to teach you how to make another house, and this time it's not going to be a house like this one. It's going to be a completely different house. There's a guy right there. Also, I fixed the issue with the audio. I noticed that the last two tips and tricks videos on Minecraft had no in-game audio, so now I fixed that. We've got this guy over here with the little house that we made. I'll leave I'll leave the video in the description down below to where I teach you how to build that. And this time I'm gonna help you guys build a house that is also very popular, a house that people tend to do as their first home when they start in the Minecraft survival series. And that's going to be a cave house. You're gonna grab a wall and you're gonna make a hole in it, and then you're going to put your stuff in it. That's how simple it is. But obviously we have to make it look good, because that's what this is all about, making it look good. Because there's not really too much of an outside to this house, I will teach you how to do the inside. And we're going to use this side of the wall right here, mainly because it might not use it, but mainly because it's super flat already. I'm not gonna make it on the floor, but I'll make it here. Just find a freaking mountain. Don't be a lazy ass motherfucker and do it. Just do it, man. Either way, let's make a little bit of we're just gonna flatten out this wall just a little bit more, and so that we can make some stairs, make a hole, and after I'm done with the hole, I'll let you guys know. And we are back. As you can tell, we made a pretty darn big hole. I am not leaving the wall up to the outside just for making it easier to show you guys how I'm going to make it, but we are doing a 5-block upward, or vertical, and then a horizontal, or should I say length. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. 1 2 3 4 5 6 9 length, long, and then 5 1 2 3 6 wide. This is how big the house is going to be, obviously, because it is a cave house. You can make as many rooms as you want. You can make the rooms deeper, farther in. You can make them up top like a second floor. It really doesn't matter. It's all really up to you, and you can always make it work. But I don't have a long time in this video, so we are going to only use one room, and I'm gonna try to fit everything we can into this little tiny room. This is also going to work as how to fit everything in one little space, much like the one that we did on the tower and the house. And right now we're going to start. First of all, we're going to start by changing out all of the walls and floor for a different material, just so that it doesn't look like there's some ugly white vomit looking thing on the wall and maybe period blood. Who cares? I'll see you guys right back when I'm back. Alright, I know I am not finished yet, but I decided to make the width, instead of 6, to make it 7 wide. This way we have a center point that we will build on right here. I'm actually going to do it right in front of you guys. Something I told you guys when I was building the house right there is to make it look as realistic as we can possibly do. And the reason to this is because the more realistic it does, the nicer it is on your eyes, I suppose. So what we're doing is we're putting pillars on the house, and we're also going to put these support beams horizontally going outwards. And I was only gonna do 2, but I decided to extend this a little bit to the right and put a third one here on the top to give it a little bit of a curving shape, and that would probably look a little bit more aesthetically pleasing. I will be taking this off just for the roof to be a little bit taller, but when you take a look at it in a square form, well, I guess, never mind. I guess it is also one block higher. Just make it one block higher, but remember that this one on top of the wooden log is going to be filled in with stone. One more thing I wanted to say is that let's take this for example right here. I made a little hole, but if you were making a house in the outside, you would want to fill this hole with this kind of stone, because you would be able to see that from the outside. But because it is a house inside of the walls, you don't have to fill in certain places or certain corners like this, and you can save a lot more blocks, not only because you don't have to make an outside, but because you can cut cheap on the corners. Alright, so we have the walls ready now. Now we're going to start doing the ceiling. We're going to use a completely different material, not this stone, and we're also going to do the floor with a different material again. Alright guys, now we have the inside of the roof finished. I decided to use these things, or should I say, staircases, or yeah, not oak stairs, spruce stairs here in the front to give it a little bit of a, I don't know, just a little bit of a, maybe, forgot the word. I forgot the word, but who cares? I decided to put one more here on this side, just here, because I didn't like the two, but I'm probably going to make the darker ones here on the end as well. Just like that. Just gives it a little bit more of a tonal contrast. I guess you can say shading like I did on the other house. But I was going for something else, you know. Something else we're going to do, because this looks a little bit too geometric. I'm going to put more stairs here because this part is part of the outside. That's not going to be shown later, but right now it's bothering me. OCDness. Not a trick. A trip. It was a trick. A trick. No, not a trick. A tip that a tip that I gave when I was building that house over there is that if you're running low on resources, you can always use slabs instead of the full blocks. We're going to use wood for the bottom part, and it can be pretty annoying having to farm for wood. So if you're running low on wood blocks, something you can do is you can grab 6 of those wooden blocks and make slabs, and that's going to give you twice as much blocks as it would if you were only using the blocks. The slabs will do the same thing. You're not gonna see the bottom of it, so it really doesn't matter, but you just have more blocks to work with. It's just a great idea, and another tip that I'd like to give you guys. And now we are done with the floor. We're not going to decorate the inside yet. Now we are going to actually work on the outside. We're going to make the outside wall and other stuff like that. Now, we got the pillars here, but we are going to make the outside like maybe either this block. Yeah, we're going to make it this block right here. Let's start with that. Let's start actually with the roof. I like starting with the roof, by the way. These are the pieces that I used for both the walls, the ceiling, and then the floor. Now let's look for some stuff real quick, and when I find it all, I'll let you guys know how it goes. Alright, so I have found a couple of pieces that I believe I'm going to use on the ceiling. We might add another one or take another one out, but this is what I'm starting out with. I was gonna use the entire ceiling using this, or should I say the outside of the ceiling, but because I don't want it to merge into the inside ceiling because of this shading that we have added, I am going to add a separator, and that separator is going to be this block right here, which is darker and will add to the tonal contrast. Alrighty, just like that, that is our new separator. Now we're going to start adding the outside ceiling. See you guys when I'm finished. We have made the sides of the outside now. What we did is we put staircases, 2 right here and next to it, and then on this side we put 2 upside down staircases on both sides. That's really all we did. We're just covering this darker wood up from the outside. Alrighty guys, so we have somewhat finished. We really haven't finished, but this is how it's looking so far. We did the same thing as before. We added a staircase here, and then we added um, two planks here, basically a block, same here in back, and again here on the sides, kind of doing 1, 2, 3, 4, and right here. And then on this we did the same thing except with slabs. I'm actually gonna take those two out because we are going to use something else to cover that part up, which is going to be this thing. There we go. No, that's not looking that good. I'm going to get cobblestone staircases because I do want to have some cobblestone on the outside. What is the cobblestone on the outside going to do? What the cobblestone on the outside is going to do is this. It's going to add a little bit of contrast with all of the browns going on. And it's going to basically just help refine it or add more detail, something like that. We also extended this middle piece out just a little bit, or by a little bit I mean 1 block. And so we did with the outer piece. And we're going to do this again on this side. I decided not to do this. Always experiments. This is not a, by the way, this is not a how to build exactly video. This is tips and tricks. I have no plans on how to make this house. I am completely improvising. And I will, every time I come up with a new thing to do, then I'll let you guys know with a tip right in the video. There we go. So basically what I did is I put the slabs just a little bit down, like that, and then once again just going down 1 step, and I covered this hole right here, and that's only showing a little bit of the cobblestone, and it looks a lot better. Now the front of the house is going to have some wood in it, but it's going to be mostly stone. After all, the walls on the inside are stone, and it is going to be actually this kind of stone in the first place. So let's grab it right now. Let's just make a beautiful little wall, and I'm not too concerned about leaving holes in the outside. It is a cave house, and you want to make it look as realistic as you can for eye-pleasing reasons. In this case, why not add a little bit of ventilation? Alright, so we are going to up this a little bit, and now we have beautiful windows. You always want to try, if you're looking for a house with only 1 door, obviously you want to have 1 block in the middle, unless you're going for something a little more dramatic with the wall, with the door on this side. But if you want to, make sure that you have a 2-centered house. I only go for 1 door, that's just what I prefer, but you guys do whatever you guys want. Alright, so what did I do to the front of the house? I didn't do too much. I grabbed very dark wooden fences, and I put them right here, the darkest I could find. I grabbed a little bit lighter because after all it is a little bit farther out to where the sun can see it, and I put it right underneath the beams, the support beams, to make it look like they're supporting the support beams, which also helps out with the way it looks. I also put a trap door here in the middle, the orange one, because I think it looks a little bit copperish, and copper is metal, which helps out with this. I didn't really feel that the wooden look would be too good. Not to mention, I wanted it to have holes in it so that you can look out of it. Not that I'm planning to look out of it. Now let's find a door. Let's find a door right here in front of you guys. You guys can find any door that you want. I'm gonna use the spruce door because it looks, it's not the darkest, but it looks dark enough that it'll work with this, and it has the gray on the sides. It has like the metal thing, and it looks a lot more rustic. This is a rustic build, by the way. It's looking pretty good so far, but it looks still looks a little bit empty. So we have to add a couple more things. We're going to add overhangs for the windows themselves, and I want to do an overhang for the door as well. So let's start doing that. I'm not sure what to do with the windows though, so I'm going to look for some staircases. I'm going to use this staircase, and I'm going to put it right here, facing down the bottom. That's gonna add a little bit of depth. Why not do it on this side as well? That's just gonna add depth. You know what I'm talking about? I'll get rid of this because I'm actually not liking it that much. Let's add the same thing on the door. That is going to add a hole on the top of the door though, so not exactly sure how that's going to work out. Maybe this way. Not interested. I'll just leave it on the top of the door just like that, and then I'll add something. But what something is that? Hello everyone, here's Mars, and as you can tell, I'm no longer playing Minecraft. I'm actually talking over the video. Here's the problem though. For some reason OBS stopped recording my microphone audio. I'm really not too sure why, but from now on I'm going to be speaking over a different recording on top of this video, and I'll be going over it. I hope you guys enjoy the rest. Alright guys, so we are back recording, and let's see what's happening right now. Taking a look at the video, I'm just going to narrate over it. Seems like I am trying to figure out what the heck I'm trying to do with the overhangs on the windows. I'm trying to get those trapdoors up there and maybe make a specific, maybe put them at a specific angle or something like that. Just get some kind of shape for the overhang, and I'm not really liking what I'm seeing. So what I end up finding is that if I put it at this angle right here, kind of angling upward and inward, then it doesn't look that bad. It looks kind of like eyebrows, like a sad face, but it doesn't actually. And I like that. I end up using that later on in the video. I also put it here because I believe that it also looks like it's kind of stabilizing to that fence in the top and works as an overhang for the smaller window. Alright, so now I got a new set of trapdoors. These trapdoors are a different color. Well, they're still brown, but they're a little bit lighter. And I'm trying to put them on the sides of the pillars, or should I say the start and ends of the pillars, to make them look a little bit more stable, a little bit more stable and strong. And I did put them on the sides of the door too, but I'll get rid of that later on because it doesn't look that good. Alright, so here I have figured out what to use for the windows. I was looking for something to put in the bottom of the windows to make it look cool, and I couldn't find something that I liked. So I decided to put some anvils outside. Now, not many people put them outside, but in real life they do. So I decided to just put 2 anvils outside. Whenever I need to replace them, I just replace them. They work perfectly fine. They're a good color for the house. And I'm also going to put some pots on top of them because, as you know me, I like putting pots with plants inside of them in front of my windows. Here I'm looking for pots and flowers, and it takes me a while because every time I press the T button, which is the chat button, instead of the inventory button. And make sure to crouch when you're trying to put it on top, otherwise you'll open the anvil like I did right there. And when I look up flowers, only blue flowers come up, so if you want to use a different color, definitely feel free to do that. But it's still pretty nice. It fits, and it's useful. Alright, so now I'm grabbing some chain. Why am I grabbing chain? Well, obviously, for any house, you want to have some lighting in front of it, or around it. We're going to put some lighting here in the front of the house real quick, and I want to go for some lanterns because I believe that they look much better than torches, even though torches would somewhat fit the aesthetic of a cave house. And well, if I can find the lanterns, I had a little bit of trouble with that, to be honest, whether they were called lamps or not. You can put them like this, as I was telling you guys that you can put them like that normally, and it's completely fine. But I didn't really want to do that because they are so high up, and because it's a cave, I wanted to put some extra chain on there, so I decided to put some chain right there. That's a little bit too much, just to make it look like it's hanging a little more right there. That's much better. And right here I'm going back and looking to see if that's enough lighting, but it doesn't seem like it's too much lighting, so I decided to put it on this side. Right there, I'm like, okay, no, I gotta get rid of this side part, and then I'm like, never mind, because it's in the corner. But I will end up getting rid of that side part anyways, because it's just getting in the way. Now, I did notice when I was looking farther back that the chains were at the same level. Not the chains, but the lamps. You don't want the lamps to be at the same level because the ceiling or the roof is kind of curved like an arc. So if you can get the inside lamp a little bit higher than the rest, that's gonna give the lamps also a little bit of a height difference, and that's going to help it a lot. And that's what I'm doing right here by adding extra chain on the sides as well. And I did get rid of that side part, as I said earlier, so that I have more space to work around. I'm gonna get rid of this dirt real quick because I don't like the look of dirt. Not many people really do. And just gonna replace it with some stone. You guys can do cobblestone if you want. Maybe some of that block in the bottom. I already forgot what its name is. I haven't played Minecraft in a while, as you can tell. Just replace that for more gray and it'll be all good. And that should be it. Okay, so now we're going to start working on the inside, if I'm not mistaken. I did add a little pressure plate so that it helps you with the door. I made it the same block as the one off the floor so that it's virtually invisible, but not really, you know. Alright, so let's get to the inside of the house. I'm going to start by putting a little bit of lighting inside of it, and that's going to use lamps because they are so much cooler than torches, and you can put them under blocks, which is a lot better and more efficient when it comes to saving space. I put 3 equally spaced out by 2 blocks, and they're right in the middle. Because the room is also very small, you only really need that row to illuminate or incendiate the house. I believe it's illuminate, but never mind. Never mind that. Now I'm looking for a bed. What kind of bed I'm looking for? They all do the same thing, but I'm trying to figure out what color I kind of want the bed to be. I end up deciding on brown because it just fits a little bit of the rustic kind of build, and now I'm just grabbing some of the more needed materials that everyone should have in their house, in my opinion, which include the bed and the crafting table, furnace, and chests. Now I'm going to make kind of like a mental plan on what I'm going to do, and what I end up deciding is on one side of the house, that was an accident, on one side of the house I'm going to put all of my chests, and the other side I'm going to put all of my crafting materials or crafting tools. Now, I end up having to replace one of the things by accident with the stone to fill it, and then it turns out that I needed the chest afterward. The bed is going to go in the middle because that's the best place to put it in my opinion. And then we're going to grab the chest that I replaced with the freaking stone earlier. Now, it's better to put the chests like this instead of like this. Here's why. If you put them like that, it might look pretty good, and yeah, you can get a couple chests on top of each other stacked. But if you put them this way, which is kind of sideways with each other, then you get a lot more chests to fit in one single space. And as you can see, that's a lot more than earlier. And you don't have to just do one row. You can do another one right on top of that, which is what I'm going to do. And you can even do a third one in top, but we're not going to do a third row in the top part. Alright, so now we're trying to understand what this wall is going to be. And this wall is just going to be our crafting wall with all of the crafting tools that we're going to use. We've got the furnaces up, but we're not really too sure if we should put them there or not, so we end up deciding to put the furnaces on the side. And there's also 2 other kinds of furnaces that we will be adding later on. Now, if past me can get this done quickly. Alright, so having this amount of furnaces isn't required for many people. Not many people use furnaces, or at least that many at the same time. But it is useful, and anything more than that really is a waste of time. But now we're going to look for different types of furnaces, which include the, at the time I thought it was called a roaster, but it's actually a smoker. And it's going to take me a while to find that, but this is a sped up video, so you guys already saw it happen. We have the smoker, and we have the blast furnace in our inventory now. I'm going to put one on each side, or one type on each side, but one side has a different color. It has the brown color, and that kind of messes with the symmetry. What we're gonna do is this: we're going to get rid of 2 of those from one side, and we're gonna move them over to the other, just like that. Just get the blast furnaces up on the other side, and now we have a symmetric wall. Now it's all about finding what to fill in the inside. We're gonna put what's right next to the crafting table. We're not gonna put the brewing station yet. Here we're grabbing the loom, and we're also gonna grab the mapping station, but it's not called a mapping station. I just call it that because it's easy to understand. It's a cartography table, and we're gonna put those right next to our bed. The reason why we're putting the cartography table and the loom next to our bed is because they're the comfiest of the crafting tools. They're not really like the grinding table or the cutting wheel thing that Minecraft has now. You don't really want to have anything that'll cut your head off right next to your bed now, do you? So you can just work on your maps and work on your loom things, whatever you do with the loom. Make clothes, I guess, and just do it right next to your bed. It's all real cozy and stuff. And then you can use all of the other more dangerous things on the opposite side of the house, because you don't want that near you. That would be the grinding table and that saw. I'm gonna call it a saw. I put them next to the door because that to me is the best spot to put them, and we also have more space right next to that. We decided to put the little book thing in the middle because to me it looks a little bit more like a centerpiece, and have the crafting tables on each side. On the other side I'm going to put that smithing table, and we're actually going to end up using the table that nobody uses because you can't use it, which is the archer table or the archery table, whatever it's called. If I can find it. The fletching table is what it's called. And we're gonna put that right to the other side, to the left side. Right there. So whenever the next update comes up, you can still use it. Right there, I'm just trying to test if I can right click it to see if it does anything, but it doesn't. So there you go. Just aesthetic reasons. Now, we have a big open space here in the center, and you can put a painting in there, or maybe a painting with a secret room behind it. But what I end up doing is something different. I'm going to get rid of that entire wall, or make like a small addition to this room by making a hole through that through that wall, and we're going to make it look kind of like a play, not like a stage. You know how when you're in a stage and they're on like a different level of floor, it'll looks cool. Well, that's what it's gonna look like, except it's not gonna actually be a play. You're gonna have the enchantment table in there, and you're gonna have all of the bookcases in there. That's gonna look pretty good. Alright, so I'm going to fill in the floor here, because you do want to have a nice floor on your enchantment table. You don't necessarily want it to be a piece of stone and whatever that white stuff is. No homo. And we're gonna also fill in the walls behind it. The reason why we're filling up the walls, even though we're not going to be able to see them because of the bookshelves, is because, as you can see, we are hitting the outside. So if you're in the outside, you don't want to see a bookcase. You want to cover it up. You want to make it look like a door, or not a door, like a wall. And that's why we're putting a wall behind the bookcase, even though we can't see it from the inside, because you can see it from the outside. We put a cases in, and we're going to put our roof in right now using the same blocks as our floor, because we were too lazy to grab a different one. But it does look cool, or look better this way, because the darker does kind of look a little bit better, in my opinion, when it comes to enchanting. Alright, so we have one normal block on the top side in the center of that little piece. The reason for this is that if you put, here's a enchantment table, but if you have a slab on the top part of a block, you're not going to be able to put anything under it. Minecraft can fix that, but it hasn't so far. And if you want to put anything under it, you're going to have to put another slab just like that right there. We're going to find, because it is extra space and there's not really any lighting in there, aside from the enchantment table that provides a little bit of lighting but not too much, we decided to put a lantern in there. Not any lantern, the blue one, the soul lantern. And we chose the blue one because it's an enchantment table, and having a cool lantern makes it pop out even more. It makes it cooler, and cooler is always better. Alright guys, so now we're getting an item frame. And what are item frames for? Here I noticed that some of the chests I'm not going to be able to get because of the loom. So I just end up getting rid of the other chests on the other side as well for aesthetic or symmetric reasons. I will be adding something on there later on though. And the reason why we have item frames on the chest is so that you can differentiate the chests from one another. Let's say that you have a bookshelf on a case just like that. That means that that chest is going to be specially made for enchantment things or books or paper. And if you have something like that light on the chest, you can put lighting stuff on the chest, or you can put other kinds of things like decoration things on the chest. And if you have maybe an iron ingot on one of those item frames, you can put like your valuables like iron, gold, diamonds. Now we're putting back the loom, and then we are trying to figure out what to do with these sides that we got rid of the chest there. And something I am thinking about in this moment is to add like a little balcony thing and add some real nice armor stands. Right now I'm just looking for some slabs to put on top of the chests, but I don't seem to be finding them. Here I found one, and I'm going to put that right there on top. It's gonna work kind of like a little shelf, and it will be used as a shelf, and it works out perfectly fine. So we're gonna open the chest just to make sure that the chest opens, and it does. So we just keep putting our slabs throughout, and then we'll get our armor stands and put them on top. Now that we have our armor stands, we're gonna put all of them in the place that we want them to be at, which is right on the shelves, or the little balcony, I'm gonna call it. The reason why we can put them there is that the gravity affects them, as you can see in the video. Gravity affects them, so even though they are one slab above normal block level, which you wouldn't be able to put other stuff on top of them because the armor stands actually fall, they will look perfectly fine and they won't look like they're floating. Now we're just grabbing a little bit of armor. We're gonna grab the black one because it's supposed to be the strongest one, and we're going to put the black armor in the center. It's also nice that it kind of fits our aesthetic. We're gonna put the black armor stand on the center. We're also gonna grab the diamond armor, and we're going to put it on the right side of the black armor stand because everything's better on the right. Oh wait, never mind. Don't take it politically. Imagine that didn't happen. We're gonna put our diamond armor on the armor stand, and then we're going to put our iron armor on the other, or should I say the rightmost, when you face the way that the armor stands are facing, the rightmost armor stand. Who doesn't use iron armor? Now we're going to grab some more gray armor, which is a chainmail armor, which you can't craft. You can only get this through chests. So this one's kind of like a trophy for us. Or zombies that have it, that drop them when you kill them. I'm gonna put it on the leftmost side because we want to try to keep the symmetry by having the gray on the opposite ends. And then we're gonna grab the gold armor to be on the other side of the blue one, which would be diamond and gold, you know what I mean? And it looks perfectly great. Absolutely amazing. It also works because the light is not just illuminating the entire house, but because it's so much closer to the armor stands, it's also illuminating them a lot more, making them seem cooler. You can put stuff behind the armor stand to make it pop out even more, but we don't do that in this video. And here's where I noticed that I forgot something. I had forgotten the brewing station. So we grabbed the brewing station from our inventory and we just put it quickly on the sides right there. We can have our own chest for just potions in one of them behind us, and just put a potion on the item frame, and it's all good. We have our completed crafting wall is what I call it. But that's really it for the house mostly. It's really nice. Actually, I just remembered that we do a couple other things. We're going to get rid of some of the stone in the front of the house because it looks a little plain, And because it is a rustic house and a cave house, we're going to replace it with the same kind of stone, but not really. We're going to get some broken, or should I say cracked stone, and then some mossy stone, and we're just gonna grab random blocks and we're just going to change it up, you know. Now I do this with the trapdoor again because I believe that it looks better closed, and that's where I decide to keep it closed. You don't have to have it closed, but I just decided that I kind of like it. Now we're going to replace once again random blocks with our mossy stone, just to make it seem a little bit cooler, a little bit more dramatic. We're going to put a painting inside of the house too, in front of the, or not in front, but on top of the bed. And that's gonna be it for us. Alright guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I worked really hard while editing this video, and I just hope you guys learned something from it. It ended up being a pretty nice video in my opinion, and I would like it if I was you guys. Give it a like, subscribe, share it, and once again, sincerely, I hope that you guys learned something from this. Thank you.